Welcome back to another episode, everybody. Today, you might have guessed off the thumbnail, you'll definitely know off the thumbnail anyway, but we've spun a bearing, unfortunately, on the cool-down lap after Donington, round 6, this past Monday, the bank holiday Monday. So it's unfortunate, but I think it's just one of those things. It goes along with racing, doesn't it, that these things happen and we get the failures. I think we've been lucky, excuse me, I think we've been lucky up to now, this season, to not have any engine issues. And I think the engine was just tired and overdue, a service. It's coming up to its 3rd year now, so I think it was well overdue. But Tuesday, I woke up, came down to the unit, stripped a few bits off, the sump and headers and whatnot, and determined that it was cylinder 4 that spun a bearing. So I think we've been lucky in respect that we haven't done the usual Subaru trick and snapped the con rod, sent it through the block. So fingers crossed, we will have a salvageable block and we can get it rebuilt for the next round at Brands Hatch, which is 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away now. So yeah, what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to get the engine out of the car, tear it down. I'll do a bit of a time-lapse sort of video, and we'll show you the bearing material, and we'll go into it in a bit of detail. But a couple of things. I've invested in a wireless mic. I think I said a few episodes ago. It's arrived, so that should improve the audio quality for you listening at home. And also, I've invested in a gimbal. It's a DJI, can't remember, a DJI Osmo 4, I believe, Mobile 4, whatever anyway. But it's got a few different bits, functionality. It follows me, it like traces my movement, so we don't have to have someone behind the camera, or usually me. So it frees up my hands, so I don't have to. So I can be showing you things a bit better. So before we get into the time lapse sort of things, of me ripping the engine out, I'll put a couple of pictures up, but I'll take you over. I want to show you the oil filter. That was the first thing I did, ground open the oil filter to see what was in there basically. And the other thing is the Syvex. Obviously, I'm not accustomed to a Syvex ECU. It's all new to me this year, so I don't know the different warnings and errors. It's all like trial and error, and I'm learning as we're going along. So I'll show you what's come up on the Syvex. Not in the logs. This is just in the in the calibration side of things. It's come up with a warning for saturated knock levels on cylinder 4. So even though the Subaru's only got one knock sensor, it's done its job. It's told me exactly where the knock's coming from. I didn't know this. I've only just found this out today. I actually tore the engine down, not tore it down, but took the sump off and determined physically, I seen where the knock was coming from before I'd checked the logs. But it's just goes to show the Syvex. It's a proper piece of kit, really useful. But yeah, I'll take you over now to I'll go to the oil filter first. I'll show you that. What you'll be looking for, sort of, when you have spun a bearing. So I'll take you over there now, anyway. So yeah, as I say, one of the first things that I actually did when we got the car back off the trailer is I actually cut open the oil filter just literally with a grinder, just cut the top straight off. So let me just try and see what we can, move the camera forward a bit, zoom. Yeah, so you can see there the like pieces of brass, the actual bearing materials. Yeah, you get the idea anyway. That's traces of the actual bearing itself in the in the oil filter. You can see it glistening there in that little puddle of oil, but this is like a little spreader plate bit that goes on the top there as well, and you can see it all caked all over there. But the important thing when we're coming to rebuild the engine is everything has to be pristine, like pristinely clean. So all the sump's going to be replaced, but basically anything that oil has touched or been passed through will have to be stripped. This is obvious for most people, but even I had a little thought the other day actually, even going as far as the AVCS. The AVCS has oil passages going through it. That's how they work, the variable valve timing. So that will all need to be stripped and cleaned. The AVCS solenoids, you get the idea. Basically, everything that's had oil through it. I'm going to replace the oil filters, the oil coolers as well, just to be safe, really. The other thing I wanted to show you is the Civex, as I was just saying. So let me zoom in. I'm trying to learn how to use this thing as well, because obviously I've only just got it, and I don't know exactly how everything works on it. But as you can see, I've connected to the car here. It tells you the configuration. This is just Civex stuff, but it's flashing yellow on device. So if we click device, and then it's flashing on errors. So click errors, and it's coming up there. You can see if we click warnings, you can have all or warnings or whatever. But it's basically saying cylinder 4 knock. We've got a warning for cylinder 4 knock, and then if you click on it, we've got saturated, which means the levels have gone too high for the knock sensor. They're out of the parameters of the knock sensor that this knock sensor can read. So yeah, it's a really decent bit of kit. But yeah, we'll back out of that. We don't need to be in that anymore. Device, disconnect. So yeah, we'll get straight into it. 1 minute. Let's flip you back around. Yeah, sorry. We'll get straight into it. I'll put you onto the time lapse, and then we'll get the engine out. Start getting the engine out. It's relatively straightforward on this. It usually takes me about an hour and a half. So yeah, I'll get it out, get it on the engine stand, and go from there. I'll come back. I'll speak to you soon. There we go. It's out. If only it was as easy as that time lapse here. Saying that, it took about an hour. It wasn't bad at all. So what we're going to do now is get straight into tearing it all down. So I'll go straight back onto the time lapse. I'll try and get as many angles as I can, you know, so you can see sort of in detail. I'll try and pan the camera in as well, you know, so you can see what I'm doing in detail. But yeah, we should have it stripped down and ready to inspect. So yeah, I'll speak to you again soon. I just wanted to interrupt the time lapse because we've run into a typical Subaru issue. Well, everything's been straightforward up to now. It's all come apart pretty easy. As I say, it's only been together for 2.5 years now. So the bolts are all pretty, they come off pretty easy. The issue we've run into is the Bakelite, these pulleys here. They're like a Bakelite plastic. The top ones are metal, the AVCS ones, but these centre bolts are always they're Allen heads, and they're always round. Just a nightmare. But I'll tell you what, I'll grab one. The other one off here, so you can see. That's the pulley. This is off the other side. The other one's deeper, and the other one is the one that definitely has to come off. This one you can get away with leaving on. It's a bit of a pain, you know, to get the plastic cowling off, but this one can stay on, and the camshaft can come off, you know, with the pulley still on. But this one has to come off, you know, to get the camshaft out without damaging things. So luckily I've got another one. It's not an issue, and there's no issue because we've got 3 weeks, but I have spares of these bolts just because I know they're a nightmare, you know, if you ever need to do exactly what we're doing now. So I've got a spare one, so I'm just going to drill the centre of it off. Literally just drill straight through the centre, but I'll put a couple of still images over the screen now so you can see what I mean. But yeah, I'll flip back to the time lapse again, and then you can see what I'm doing. uneventful day, to say the least. The audio might be a bit worse now because the microphone's died. Do you know, the little wireless microphone? The battery, I left it turned on, and yeah, it's dead. And then the camera time-lapse stopped recording for some reason. So anyway, we've got it. You've seen the majority of the teardown, but we've got the engine torn down and in bits, and unfortunately, it's bad news. I'll show you a little bit closer in a minute, but the short of it is, I've been running a semi-closed deck block for 2.5 years now. The car and the engine have had a lot of abuse. You know, probably done 10 to 15,000 road miles, and then 2 seasons of circuit work. So, as we said before, it was well overdue a service, a rebuild. But unfortunately, the line has cracked due to me only running the semi-closed deck block. It was unsupported in certain areas, and yeah, it's cracked. I'll show you the state of the bearings, the spun bearing, and then also the main bearings in the block, because they have got signs of overheating, whether that's due to oil starvation, due to me not running a dry sump, running an Aki sump. I don't know, but I'll show you. I'll flip you around anyway on there, and then I'll show you. So yeah, here's the 2 block half split. I'll flip them round in a minute and show you the affected areas, you know, where the crack is. But here's what I was just talking about just then. You can just see these areas. Let me just pan this round a little bit. You can just see the areas here where it's like a little bit discoloured, you know, like a little bit purpley. The rest of the bearings seem to be fine. You know, there's no bad wear to them or anything. I think it might have actually been this side if we have a look. Yeah, you can see there's worse wear. Obviously, this is the bottom of the block, but there's like some discoloration there. Same on this side. Let me flip that around. It's not wanting to turn. Yeah, you can see the discoloration there. I'll try and zoom in. There we go. See much better now. It's like a purple spot there, but there doesn't seem to be any other damage. Maybe near where the oil actually comes out as well. Do you know that hole there? There's a little bit of a discoloration there. But yeah, everything else looks reasonable. The spun bearing was on cylinder number 4, so that's this channel here on the crank. You can see all where it's taken off the nitrile sort of treating and the chrome, whatever it is. All the rest of them are absolutely fine. As you can see, it's hard to see with this. They're all still mirror finished, you know, perfect. But yeah, that's the block side of things. Other than the crack, I'll show you in a minute. Let me zoom back out. So onto the bearing, the rods themselves. The rod bearings. These all look really good condition still. There's a few little marks, but nothing out of the ordinary. This one, although I say that, this one, you can see has taken some damage there. It's gone through the initial layers and into the is it copper underneath? I'm not sure. That one's took some damage. This is piston number 3. This one is, and it's also taken a bit of the coating off here. It's not affected the journal on the crank, but it has taken a hit there, as you can see. These are ACL bearings, these, just for reference. Anyone wanted to know? This is going on to now number 2. This is piston number 2. So it goes 1, 3 and then 2, 4. This one, again, took a bit of a beat in there. Obviously, this is the top bearing, so this is the one that's going to take the beating and the bottom one seems to be okay. Now this is the affected one. This was the spun bearing, so you can see it's splayed out onto the sides and just generally not looking very good at all. The bottom's actually thinner, is it? No, the bottom one, sorry, is not as bad. But also, obviously, because of the bearing is spun in the rod is now toast. It's all knackered, as you can see there. Let me zoom in on that. Yeah, not good. Right, give me 2 secs. I'll flip these blocks over and then we can show you the crack. Yeah, so it's quite difficult to pick up on the camera, but we've got some scoring of the bore here. So I don't know if that's due to me gapping the rings and going relatively tight on the tolerances, cylinder to bore clearance. I initially built the car for a road car, and then obviously I'm doing circuit work. Maybe it's going to be much hotter in cylinder, cylinder temperatures. So the expansion rate is going to be higher. So that's probably due to that, the piston actually expanding and then like almost nearly nipping up in the bore, but it's not good either way. But yeah, you can just see the crack there, and it's pretty common because the block's not supported. So it's when it focuses. The blocks on the WRX, it's supported here and there. And the STI, it's also got additional supports here. And this is called a semi-closed deck block. But obviously, when you're pushing these things to the extreme, it's still unsupported here. They do a closed deck block as well, which is obviously all supported all the way around. But you're gonna get these issues. And it's cracked there. It's not cracked all the way through to the water jacket, so I wasn't seeing any issues, but it has cracked. You can feel it with your nail, sorry. So it's done it there, which is cylinder 1, and it's also done it in the same place in cylinder 2. So you can see it just there. And we've got a bit of tightening up in cylinder 4 here. You can see my nail is catching in those. And if you look at the piston, the corresponding piston, which is the spun one, this one, seems to be minimal skirt damage, but there is signs of it nipping up in the bore, scratching there. But yeah, you live and you learn, don't you? This was my first ever engine build, and yeah, I've learned a lot from it. Yeah, let me flip you around anyway. So, what's the plan next? What we're going to do? We've got 3 weeks exactly until the next round at Brands Hatch. So, I was going to tell you what the plan was, but I think I'm going to keep it for. I'm going to do an update video. I'm going to keep it for another video, and surprise you all with what we're going to do. But options are rebuild, source another block, and then to do a rebuild, build it ready for higher classes maybe, more power. There's loads of different options, but what I'll do is, as I say, I'll do an update video and then I'll let you know then. So that's it for today. That's the only other thing I wanted to put in was I wanted to strip the oil pump down to see the condition of the rotor wheel in the oil pump itself. So what I'll do is I'll bang it on the end on a little time lapse so you can see. But yeah, just explaining what I was doing. But yeah, tune into the next episode to find out the plans moving forward, what we're going to do. Thanks for watching. It's been a long video today, but thanks for watching and take it easy. I'm gonna take you